So, John, a question came in that relates to some of your comments around the kind of selection issues. The person's raising this issue of, we start with a diverse funnel, but maybe don't end up with a diverse slate all the time because recruiters or those in charge of the selection process might not, again, have access to all of this kind of EEO data or representation data. So any kind of best practices or ideas on how companies can ensure that they really get these kind of diverse slates in the selection or recruitment process?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something we're still learning more about, but the fact that you might be able to segment the recruitment process or the funnel and identify those stages at which you're seeing significant drop off might point you to digging a little bit deeper, right? So I know some companies have tried to survey applicants to understand why, we get you to the point of offer, but then our offer acceptance rates are wildly different between particular groups. So that's again where some companies have gone the focus group route and just tried to understand what's kind of holding up their progress as they recruit a diverse funnel, but then it comes to their actual hires and they're not seeing that same follow through. Tony, I don't know if you have additional thoughts on that, but I think it's definitely
I have a more perplexing question. I don't know if it's an answer, but it's this notion of how do you even know then that you have a diverse funnel, right? And so you're saying, well, I don't really know what my talent looks like by the time we get to the selection. I'm not the person who picked these people. Well, then how do you know the funnel is even diverse from the beginning? And so we then, if that's the case, then we do have a sense that we're attracting people to apply for particular roles. And then it seems like the acceptance or the making it to diverse slates or the actual making it to hire seems to be the problem or challenge, if you will. And so that's where we try to spend some time and some focus by looking at the lens to ensure that we have not created any what we call functions necessary to do the job. We're making sure that we balance between essential and what's nice to have, right? A person should have 10 years. This person has 9. Okay, they can't make it. They're automatically kicked out. Well, how do we determine, the difference between 9 and 10? And so we really got to be clear about that. And then you see a lot of organizations trying to implement bias training or bias in talent selection or bias in reading resumes with the hope that it will start to influence the individuals who are selecting the final candidates for a job role to ensure that they have at least one or maybe multiple individuals who identify underrepresented groups. In some organizations, you see great success in that, and others is still kind of flat in terms of, is bias training going to be enough? And so what I would want to know is, how do we look at whatever the job category you're hiring for? If you happen to have a lot of diversity in job category A and less in job category B, I want you to actually focus on job category B. And I want you to get really specific in terms of what the criteria needs to be and really help people understand and expand their reach to identify talented individuals from all groups who can apply for those particular positions, so that we want to see an increase in the number of underrepresented groups who are in the final candidate slate. And it requires a little bit of work. You can't just source your way out and say, we put the job out and we I even put it out on different sites. You probably are going to have to become a little bit more active in terms of identifying talent.